Alright, so we're rolling, man. Hey, this is Rob from JaxPunx, and I'm here with my good friend Trey. I'm gonna go ahead and read the first one, why not? We got our little list right here. You can't see it, but we can. Why did you start listening to punk hardcore?
Man, why not? I mean, just the sound immediately grabbed me. There wasn't any, like, what is this about, or any kind of political implications to it. It was just the sound of freedom, man, you know?
Energy.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you? What was your first punk album?
Well, so the reason I started, and I figured we'd bounce back and forth, the reason I started listening to punk rock was it said something.
Yeah.
It actually said something. And what I was listening to was talking about political stuff and talking about things that were happening in the world at the time. And I remember I got an album one time. I got this Molly Hatchet album. I don't want to say anything bad about Molly Hatchet, but it had this badass Viking on the cover, man.
Yeah,
like,
Frank Frazetta's art.
This is the shit. Look at this thing, man. This is so hard rock and shit. And I play it, and I'm like, this doesn't fit the picture. There's got to be something else out there that's seeing what I'm seeing, and that's hearing what I'm hearing inside my head. There's got to be something there, and this ain't it. This ain't it.
For sure.
And so I started searching, and where in Jacksonville, the punk was not a mainstream thing. I didn't even know punk existed, to be honest with you. Yeah. But I just knew I didn't like what the fuck was going on. And when I first started hearing punk, it grabbed me, and that's why I started listening to it.
Fuck yeah. It's an interesting side note because you mentioned Molly Hatchet and Frank Frazetta's art, which was in a lot of the early heavy metal magazine, the art magazine, not the music magazine. But I mean, that kind of started me down that slippery slope into dark fantasy art and sci-fi shit. I mean, which ultimately culminated in me being here. You know what I mean? So it's interesting you note that, man. What was the first punk song you ever heard?
First punk song I ever heard. Okay, so when I was doing my search, trying to find stuff, I remember in Pick and Save, which probably nobody remembers Pick and Save, but the closest thing to punk I could even find was Oingo Boingo.
Oh wow.
So it was probably Oingo Boingo, Only a Lad.
Oh shit, okay, I haven't
Only
heard
a Lad.
that.
So it was something that you could sell in a mainstream store.
Oh shit.
Because Jacksonville didn't have that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I tried to buy a Dead Kennedy's Fresh Fruit album from Camelot, which was a place that I don't think they have them anymore, but whatever. And they kept blowing me off. I kept going back. I'm like, hey, where is this? I ordered this thing, And finally, they broke it to me. They were like, we can't order this because it's a radical political group, and we're not authorized to be able to have this in our store.
Authorized. Wow.
We can't have this in our store. And that's how closed off Jacksonville was when I was coming up and learning about punk rock. It was a taboo.
Oh shit.
They started with it started with an import section.
Right.
Yeah, they would have imports, and now imports, I guess it was imported into Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It was because it was American. It wasn't like a lot of it was American. Some was England, whatever. Okay. But yeah, so
that's cool, man. I'm trying to think of when my very first inkling or very first, experience with punk rock was, and one of the first things that pops to mind is seeing a little tidbit of fucking Sex Pistols Anarchy in the UK on MTV. And I'm not sure if that came first or my exposure to the Ramones. I do remember a friend of mine exposed me to the Ramones Mania album with, I Want to Be Sedated and We're a Happy Family. And it was just unlike anything I'd ever heard. And I was just like, where do I get more of this? You know what I mean? And there was a tape store that was like, it was called Stop, Look, and Listen. And you could buy, sell, and trade tapes. And that really got me started into trying different shit. I found Suicidal Tendencies that way. I found some metal. Slayer, South of Heaven, I think was one of the first I got. But Suicidal Tendencies grabbed a hold of me really, really quick. And there was a magazine, like a little cut and paste DIY magazine that they had up on a shelf called Insubordinator, that talked about shows and talked about bands and shit that I had just never fucking heard of before. And that was probably my first, you know what I mean, that was the way it first got its tentacles around me. So.
Was it, for you, I noticed that when I first started getting into punk rock, the division of punk and metal was nowhere near as large as it is today. Now they're completely, totally different things, but we were listening to Metallica, Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
We were listening to Slayer. Absolutely. You know, it was all in the same category.
Right.
Now, I mean, it not exactly, but there was a lot of crossover. There was a lot of listening. You know, there wasn't this division that I kind of. It seems like things have kind of cordoned off.
For me, it all fit under the one category of shit that my parents don't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And later, I kind of became conscious of like, okay, you're supposed to look one way for one thing and one way for another, but I never really felt, you know, like I felt or I belonged anywhere within that. You know what I mean? I was just kind of always an outsider, even in an outsider scene.
Yeah.
But
yeah, me too.
And crossover bands like DRI and Agnostic Front, you know what I mean? It kind of became real central to my existence in those days too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Crossover was a big thing in the 90s.
Yeah.
In the early 90s, and there was they even had an album, DRI Crossover.
That's right. Best decade ever.
Yeah. You know, Agnostic Front was doing it with Cause for Alarm.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first punk band you played in?
First punk band I ever played in was Secret Society.
Hell yeah.
It was in the summer of 1988, and nobody knew how to play instruments. I didn't know how to write a song. I didn't know. You know, it was basically just if the song's going na 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 na, I'm going ha da ha da.
Yeah.
I didn't know what my voice was going to be. I didn't know what I was supposed to say. I didn't know it was just give it everything you got and just fucking be and say what's on your heart.
That's right.
You know, scream what's in your heart. And that was a lot of fucking anger. I was really pissed. Yeah, but it was Secret Society. So what about you?
I started playing with a group of friends. One of them was the same friend that introduced me to that record store, Stop, Look, and Listen. He's gone now, rest in peace, Marty, but that was in Fremont, California, and we started playing in my bedroom. Started with a band called Vicious Cycle. That's what we called ourselves, and then one of us got an inkling that there was some other band somewhere else called that, so we started calling ourselves Lunatic Fringe. And this day we were all playing on practice amps, I mean like little guys, you know what I mean? Nothing major going on there, just playing at our house and playing in our garage and playing at his house until his mom threw us out. But I learned to play guitar. I wouldn't call it play guitar, but I learned to make sounds on a guitar around that time. I couldn't read music, I still can't, you know what I mean? We just read tabs and learned songs, you know what I mean? And little bits and pieces and started just kind of fooling around, man. Yeah. But it was a fun time, man. I wouldn't trade those days for anything.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. You just reminded me of something. When we first played, I didn't have a PA.
Yeah.
And so I would sit with a boombox in my lap while the guys would play.
Yeah.
And Tim had an amp about this big. It was a little Roland amp. And we'd get in this room and I would sit down and not move because I wanted to be the right distance. And we figured out the right distance that I would scream while they were playing.
In order to make it sound okay.
And then we would play the tape back. We'd take a break.
Yeah.
And we'd go smoke some weed or whatever, and we'd play the tape back and see what it sounded like. And then that was the way that we could hear what we would sound like. And so
that's funny, man.
And then eventually I got this. Somebody gave me like a guitar head or something, and I went to Radio Shack and bought 2 microphones for like $20, probably for the 2 of them or something, and wired the 2 of them together because it only had 1 input. Oh, wow. And I was wanting somebody else to have it.
Yeah, our first recordings were from a boombox with a little mic mounted in it. It was part of the thing, and I just remember being so proud when we finally like started to work it a little bit to where you could actually hear what the fuck was going on. Like we were so proud of that, but it sounded like kids beating on pots and pans. You know what I mean? It sounded fucking horrendous, dude.
Yeah. I just interviewed John, and I remember we invited him over to John Temple, and we invited him over to here. Like, here's the band, man, you know. And he comes over and he goes, "You sound like Popeye."
Yeah, I remember my mom poking her head in like, "Don't quit your day job," and I hadn't even conceived of a day. I didn't know what the fuck she meant. You know
Yeah. What do you mean, job?
Yeah, it's not in the plans.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. What was the first punk show you played? Where was it?
I remember we played at Phil's Warehouse. It was right a couple buildings down from Metropolis, which was on Monroe Street downtown. And he had a gym. It used to be a gym, but he rented this big flat up top. This big loft, a big flat. And it was really big. And we had a blast, man. We played with a band called Number 2. And we played with a band called The Creeps, which is a local Jacksonville band.
Hell yeah.
They're still around, or well, that's still around. They still do tributes here and there, and they'll play.
Fuck yeah.
They did Frank Bago's life celebration, they played. And Creeps are badass.
Oh shit, I'll check that out.
Cool. And yeah, Number 2 I think was from Gainesville. And I guess there were some other bands and stuff too. But we had a really fun time, man. We had a blast. And the cops shut it down. They ended up taking Phil to jail because he was serving beer to minors. He had a bunch of freaking kegs in there, and everybody, there was nothing in place to stop the minors from drinking.
Yeah.
So there was, the cops came and took him to jail.
Oh, nuts.
We didn't have to go to jail because we were entertainment, so they let us out. But that was one of the earliest ones. I don't know if it was our first one or not. What was yours?
The first show I played in, I can't remember the fucking question. The first show I played in, if we're not counting just house parties and friends just gathering at homes, would be at like the cafeteria of the Milpitas High School, where we played supporting a metal band called Deities and another punk band called Your Mother. Can't remember where they were from, somewhere in the Bay Area, and a San Jose band called Son of Sam. It was fucking awesome. Yeah, you know what I mean? And just to be there at all was like wild. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was a pretty tame show in the grand scheme of things, but to us, like there were people we didn't even know that were watching us, and that was fucking amazing.
Isn't that shit cool?
It was cool, man. It was formative experience.
Just being able to have the freedom that punk rock afforded us, because you didn't have to know how to play.
I'm sure if a video existed of it now, it probably wouldn't be as nearly major or as glorious as it felt at the fucking time. Oh, you know what I mean? But for me, it was cool, and I knew that I wanted to do that. Like the idea of tattooing and stuff hadn't really occurred to me yet. I liked art, and really they kind of went hand in hand because the art on skateboards, the people of hardcore, you know what I mean? It all made a very big impact on me. But at that time, it was just all about music.
Yeah, because back in our time, Caballero, Skull and Sword, all that, man. Yep. Cool ass graphics.
Yep, the Santa Cruz boards, the Kendall deck, you know what I mean? All that crazy shit. Yeah. Comic book art, fucking, we talked about Frank Rosetta's art, Heavy Metal Magazine, that all kind of went hand in hand. I was kind of like exploring and groping my way in the darkness and discovering all these things kind of right around the same time.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and the impermanence of life as you buy a skateboard and it lasts for 5 minutes after you buy it.
Yeah.
The artwork is gone.
Yep. All grinded off.
That's on the first thing you got to do is grind all that shit off doing rail slides.
Yeah, and I was never great at skating either, man. But I had fun, and that's what it was about. So.
I tried. I gave it the college try, man, and I got okay, but I wasn't particularly good at skating. So what do we got next?
Well, I was going to ask you. So I'm not from Jax. I hear about people, and I'm like John Temple, like who's that? You know what I mean? And you fill me in. But who are the OGs, man? Who are the friends that you went to shows with?
Friends that I went to shows with. So John Temple was somebody that we would see all the time. We already mentioned him. He's going to actually be posted before this video goes out.
Okay.
There was Darren Washburn. There was. So then there was my friends. There was Marcus Wood. He used to play in the band together. There was Tim Icewear. We played together in the band. There was a guy named Jeff Lentz that used to come to all of our shows. He lives in Atlanta now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Bigham. We interviewed him. John Five Ash. Jason Larson, Preston Moody.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
You know Preston Moody?
I know Preston Moody.
Yeah. So his son Waylon.
Yeah.
His son Waylon. Yeah. We used to run around.
Good kid.
Run around with him and Alan Calkins. And Alan Calkins had this gigantic fin.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And his fin was at least. It was very nearly a foot, if not more. He can correct me on this.
Yeah.
As he sees this video and go, no, it was 16 inches or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we who else? Who else will be the friends? Gosh, man, people are gonna be so pissed at me for not naming them. There was the cool ass chicks. Okay, so Margaret Lawson, she was awesome. Amy Lawson, her sister. Tiffany Avera. Tiffany Avera. She was running around in the scene. So yeah, and anybody else I forgot, I hope they're not those guys.
Hopefully not.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm just not. I should have had a list of all the people, but you know, we had a lot of friends that would go, and we would do all kinds of stuff. It wasn't just about going to shows. We would take and steal a bunch of pallets from behind a grocery store, load them all up in the truck, and take them out to these sand dunes, and we'd get these big burn piles in and hang out and just have a blast, man. We ran around together a lot.
Bonfire parties.
Yeah, we ran around a lot and had fun.
Oh, yeah.
I remember running one time with the pallets, and the security guard was chasing us for stealing the pallets, right?
Yeah.
So we got people in the back of the truck with the pallets, and so to get them to get off our ass, one of the guys lifted up the pallets like he was going to drop it on, throw it out the back of the truck and make the guy run over it. He was like, "Oh, it ain't worth it, man." So he went ahead and stopped chasing us, and we
gave up on that.
We went and had our fun.
Hell yeah. How often did you guys play? What kind of crowd were you playing for?
So we didn't play. At the time when we started, there was Metropolis. And I don't know of any other place. I mean, you could play at a Knights of Columbus or something like that. But Metropolis was the place to go. And we didn't play very often. We would probably play once a month or so.
Yeah.
And we didn't go on tour. We were a local band. But we'd play about once a month or so, and then we'd play parties.
No shit.
Yeah, we play parties too. We'd get to play about once a month.
There's a couple other spots I've been hearing about out here that no longer exist, like the Milk Bar or Unit 6. Were those places around at that time?
So Milk Bar came after Metropolis. Metropolis was a smaller venue.
Yeah.
They were on Monroe Street. Well, when they started doing well, the guys, Larry and Ed, they got a new venue, and that was Milk Bar, and it was one block over on Adams Street. Okay. Now, what was the one?
Unit 6.
I don't know about Unit 6.
I believe it was near the beaches. It was Justin Gerald's venue. He's from Round for Round. Yeah. Okay. No, there's some shows filmed there on YouTube that I've seen, but I'm, again, a newbie to town. I fucking don't really know, like, what happened when. You know what I mean?
I don't know about Unit 6.
But it looked like some serious hardcore shows went down there.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, cool. I didn't know anything about it. I know about some other places. Back then, back in the 80s and early 90s, we played at Knights of Columbus, places we could do. A place called the Captain's Club down towards the beach.
Okay.
Then later on, there were Jackrabbits, which was called Bad Boy Club.
Yeah.
At the time. But then it became Jackrabbits, and I guess maybe Tim owned it as, I don't know who owned it, Bad Boy Club. But it's been there for a long time. Then, of course, Harbor Tavern, which is Danny Neerman.
Okay.
His dad owned that. There was a place called Dash Rip Rocks back in the 90s. There was a place called The Pit. The Pit was down that way, but that was later on.
And what were your favorite bands during that period of time?
My favorite bands locally?
Yeah.
Okay, so locally, I was really digging on Ringworm. Ringworm was a very fun band to play with and to go see. They were Oh man, Action Slacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are two that pop up.
Okay.
That come to mind. Yeah. So what's next on our thing? So what were some of the other bands that you played in other than your first band?
Other than that, a band called War Machine that the guy that organized it, the singer, was in a band prior to that. Was definitely like the musician of the group. You know what I mean? It was just kind of under his direction. We traveled around. Our last show that we played was in West Palm Beach, Florida, after I already moved here.
Yeah.
And kind of ended in a brawl, and just kind of like made me question like why I go out of my way to do the things that I do. And I was also a father of 2 young twins at the time, which I still am, but they were way younger at that point. I'm like, I kind of need to redirect my focus to my business and to my kids and shit like that. So that was actually my last involvement in music, other than playing in Lenny's band, Doomsday Rejects, but that never really took off. I kind of joined that band and did what I did towards the ass end of their run. So yeah.
We changed our name a lot. When we would lose members, we would be like, well, we're not that band anymore because we don't have the same members, so we would change the name. And we were called the Secret Society. Then it was King Manga and the Sonar Men.
Yeah.
We named that after an acid trip that we had at the beach, where we all went down to the beach tripping on acid.
Those were the days.
The Sonar Men were the people that went around with the metal detectors.
Yeah.
They're freaking Sonar Man. We had fun with them. We had a band called Pit Stop.
Yeah.
Played in this band, and I really liked that name. That was fun. We had this Skankin' Shaggy.
Okay.
That was, he's like doing the circle jerks skanking thing, but it was Shaggy Doo. And it was called Pit Stop. And then we also did it with the stop sign, of course.
Yeah.
Then we became Mysterious Briefcase. I played in this band called UTI, Under the Influence.
Okay.
There was, then of course later on played in Left on High.
Hell yeah.
Left on High was something that I was like, I don't want to be old and can't play anymore and sitting in a bed somewhere wondering why I didn't do everything I could have done.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could have done another band. I wonder if I could have done this or that. No, I don't want to be there. I want to go, man, I'm fucking tired because I did a lot of shit.
Makes me think of the intro to that Butthole Surfer song where the kid goes, what does regret mean? He goes, well, son, it's better to regret something you did do than something you didn't do.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah, I don't want to sit around thinking like, why didn't I make better use of my time? And for a long time, I felt myself compelled to do everything that I can, and I still do it to an extent, but it's a little more focused in on those things that matter most, my art and being a good dad, because that's a job I only get one opportunity to do,
Ain't that true?
Yeah.
Man, kids are the best, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Man, I'm so proud of my daughter.
Before we move off record stores and venues, I just want to fucking give a quick shout out to the places that I really started seeing shows that really kind of opened me up, and that's the 924 Gilman in Berkeley, California, Maritime Hall in San Francisco, Bottom of the Hill. There were a lot of free shows organized at Pioneer Park in San Francisco or at People's Park in Berkeley, Cactus Club, and a few other spots in San Jose. Like, really grateful for the collective experience that those places gave me. They were my home for a while, and I was in group homes, so I used to go AWOL. I would fucking run away and get on BART or get on the bus and fucking end up at a punk show and then end up just hanging out in the street and like, I don't know, not the safest thing I could have been doing, but goddamn, it was fun.
Man, that sounds awesome.
I don't mean to take you away from the kid topic for that, but I was like, I should probably mention these, you know what I mean?
Well,
landmark places.
While we're talking about that, Jacksonville, we were small. It was a small punk scene, and so if you didn't know somebody that was punk, you could easily say 3 names of somebody that you did know and guarantee they would know them.
Yeah.
Was your area like that?
I mean, everything is so big when you're a kid. You know what I mean? And to me, it was vast and huge. How it is as compared to other scenes, probably not the biggest, probably not the smallest either. You know what I mean? And looking back on it, it seems a lot smaller. You know what I mean? But at the time, there was just this world of people that were like this, and bands that were like that. And every time I turn around, I'm like, what band is on the back of that person's jacket? And hanging out in Berkeley and just seeing gutter punks all in the street, and you know what I mean? The street kids party, and I was just like, wow, this is just this vast family of fucking miscreants. And that seems like the closest thing to where I might happen to belong. So, you know what I mean? That's where it took me, man. And record stores like Rasputin's and Amoeba Records were also central to me, like finding cool shit. You know what I mean? Taking me further down that rabbit hole. You know what I mean? To the question though, I mean, I'm not sure that people I knew were the most central figures in punk rock. I'm not sure if people in all these different cities knew who they were, but they were there for me. You know
but you saw the same people.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the bands at that time that really fucking made me crazy were Verbal Abuse, The Fuck Ups, Fang. Yeah. You know what I mean? Bands like that, and a lot of other smaller bands that were just made up of my friends just fucking around. You know what I mean? But it was good times.
That's the first, man. That's the best thing about punk, in my opinion, is it's DIY.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the original, and from our era, it's the original DIY.
I remember seeing DRI play in a fucking storage unit. That shit was fucking amazing. Sometimes the smaller shows were the better ones because the energy just transmits better. You know what I mean? It's electric. So
yeah, a pop up that just forms out of nowhere. You know, I know from living in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for a while, and every show I'd go to, I wouldn't see any of the same people.
Yeah.
It was too. I guess it was too big of a scene.
I was so young and such a fucking dork. I didn't fucking know anybody, and I was just, you know what I mean? Yeah. There was a long period of time where I've seen people I didn't recognize, and to go from one city to another, whole different crowd of people, oftentimes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But over time, you start, I've seen that dude around. You know what I mean?
I notice it more now.
Yeah.
I go to a show now, and I may know one or two people.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like on the old days where
I'm seeing the same people now, but I'm also going to the same small select group of venues. You know what I mean? I'm also paying more attention to the old heads than the fucking little kids. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Where does that leave us, man? Do you want to share a memory or a story of a punk legend or someone that passed on?
Okay. Someone that passed on? Oh, fuck, man. Jason Larson.
Okay.
Jason Larson.
Fill me in.
Jason Larson played in our band, and he was, I know he practiced because he wouldn't be able to play if he hadn't, but he had a natural ability that just went from barely being able to play to he could play and sing, he could play leads, it became an extension of his body.
Yeah.
In a very short amount of time. He was incredibly talented, and he was incredibly volatile. He's dead now.
Yeah.
And he's dead because of the way he lived. He lived incredibly fast. And he would push himself to the limit as far as everything.
Yeah.
Everything. He would push himself to the limit with the guitar. He would push himself to the limit with singing. He wasn't much on writing lyrics.
Yeah.
He would leave that up to me. But man, did he know how to push the fucking limits, man. That guy was freaking, he was really, really fun to be around. And he was something else, man. He was just a real personality. I don't want to, I need to pick my words closely because I don't want to have this, this judgment thing come out, but that guy freaking lived life to the fullest, man. And he never slowed down the whole time, man, as far as I know, and he's passed on. He's wherever we go when we die.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the ground or if it's up, somewhere else, whatever, I really don't care. I don't care. It's not like I could do anything about it.
The next chapter, if there is one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've had too many friends pass on to really fucking name them all. The reasons now are different. The reasons now are more motorcycle accidents and fucking old age and health issues, whereas back then it was suicide and fucking ODing. I remember when there was a fucking apartment above the Gilman in Berkeley that we used to go party at and drink beers and fucking snort meth off the fucking toilet and shit like that. Fucking so many kids were dying up there, they ended up shutting that down. But yeah, man, fucking shout out to the ones that left too soon, you know what I mean? Sometimes the brightest flames are the ones that burn out the quickest. What else was I gonna ask? I feel like there was something over here that I skipped out on.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
How did you, so you had an open scene that you could go and buy records but how did you find out about up and coming bands? How did you find out? So you mentioned one magazine.
Insubordinator was one of many. It's the one that sticks out the most, but it was like a copy machine magazine, you know, cut and paste shit with weird little cartoons and shit drawn in the margins and just offensive pictures, just everything, man. But I saw that around quite a bit. There was another couple magazines or pamphlets or brochures, people trading tapes. Also, I remember, like, for example, one group home I was in, this dude was wanting to trade cassette tapes with me, and fucking, I was, you know, I'm always looking at the things that I don't recognize, and I saw one that was agnostic front. I'm like, what does that even mean? And I can't remember which one it was. It might have been One Voice, but the inside of the insert had Roger Murray's fucking front torso tattoo, and I was like, I want this, you know what I mean? And that's how I got into them, you know what I mean? Fucking, the tape trading and things like that with my friends and just borrowing tapes and listening to other people's shit was really number one. I mean, there are certain bands that I became conscious of because I saw their fucking name painted in white out on someone's fucking battle jacket, you know what I mean? But that was mainly it for me. What about you?
So we had Maximum Rock and Roll.
Okay, yeah.
We had Flipside, Thrasher Mag.
Yeah, Big Brother, remember that?
We looked through. Yeah. And we'd flip through, and it was the little teeny tiny things, the little tiny ads that would be in, you know, just in the margins here and there, you know, and like, what does that say? Oh man, you know, what's that all about? You know, and we start looking at it, but you couldn't. It was difficult to be able to find that music because there wasn't an internet. You couldn't look things up, so we had to, you know, go through magazines and stuff like that, and we would promo. It wasn't Facebook because there was no internet, and so we would put up flyers. So we had the flyers posted up, and then word of mouth.
We had regular record stores like Tower and Warehouse and shit like that, but then there was also Amoeba Records and Rasputin's that are just like a gold mine that I probably didn't appreciate as much at the time as I do now. But just sifting through like the punk and hardcore section and just looking at album covers. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure an album cover was how I discovered Black Flag. I'm pretty sure I found like the Nervous Breakdown EP where the dude's like backed up in the corner, was like, oh shit, this might as well have my name on it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's how I feel. You know what
Damaged.
I mean?
Was that for me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think my very first exposure to Fang, you know, I had seen their name around, heard people mention them, and then I saw that album with the fucking skull with the fang teeth where it says, "We're cool, give us money." And I was just like, I need that, you know what I mean? I need to have this. And yeah, man, so I'm really lucky to have been where I was at the time, you know what I mean? To someone else it may not be shit, but to me it was fucking everything.
I used to really love the music from the West Coast. You know, I love New York hardcore, don't get me wrong. But in my younger years especially, I loved the Dead Kennedys and I loved Bad Religion because it felt to me like they were speaking a they were talking about stuff that mattered to me. I came from a spot where my neighborhood was violent, my neighborhood was difficult, it was poor, it had a lot of drugs in it, and so my outlook was negative. I came from my family was a radical religious group, and they taught that the end of the world was coming and it was going to be sooner than later. And so everything was temporary. Everything that I was living was temporary, and everything, you know, so I was cynical. I came into the scene with a real cynical eye and was like, these people are talking about what I see. This is what I see. This is, and it's intelligent. It's something it's not, it's intelligent. And so that really captured me, because I was like, man, rock and roll is just bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't care if you lost your love. Love is great, wonderful, but do I really want to hear every single song in some way, a turn or a twist on someone's love affair? Man, I don't fucking care about that shit, man. Get out of my face. I want to hear about what's going on, man, and what we're going to do about it.
That's right. I love that.
Yeah.
Fucking, a lot of the, speaking of Dead Kennedys, a lot of the fucking intelligence, a lot of the political consciousness in those lyrics was completely lost on me in the beginning. I just thought it was funny, and I wasn't even sure why. It was just snarky and sarcastic and fucking out there and shit.
Yeah.
But later on, it wasn't until later on that I came to appreciate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jello Biafra's mind, and we may not agree on everything. In fact, these days we may not agree on much at all, but fucking at the time,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? When it did dawn on me in my 20s, like, wow, he's talking about some heavy shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And for people so young to be producing ideas and lyrics and sounds like that, like,
Yeah,
pretty intense.
the first punk album I guess I ever bought, we went up to New York with a religious thing.
Yeah.
And I think the religious thing was designed to get us inspired on religion. And what I did was I went to a record store and bought Dead Kennedys' Plastic Surgery Disasters.
Good one.
And I remember riding on the bus back, we're on the religious bus, and I got the headphones on and I'm listening to freaking Moon Over Mars.
Is that the one with Chicken Shit Conformist on it? Oh, okay.
No, it's actually kind of it's
That's
not
a
so
great song.
punk. It's punk, but it's not, it was kind of a weird deviation from the typical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had Moon Over Mars.
Yeah, branching out a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of, they were kind of branching a little bit, kind of like when Bad Religion did Back to the Known, or Into the Unknown. That's what it was, where they had the keyboard and stuff.
Yeah.
So punk was early on in my experience. Punk could go any direction that you ever. If you dreamed it, that's the direction you could go. If you wanted to, whatever you want to wear, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to play, whatever it sounds like, it could be Alice Bag, or it could be Youth of Today.
Yeah.
It was just totally any direction you wanted to go, and that's what I really loved about punk rock, is that it was so free.
Yeah.
It was just so free. Do any fucking thing you can dream of.
Freedom is our currency, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what really grabbed me.
Well, let's talk about today, man. What bands today do the people watching need to know? Who's really doing it, Jax?
Love Canal.
Yeah. Okay.
Love Canal,
Beat me to
definitely.
it. Salisbury.
Yeah.
For sure.
Love Canal.
For sure.
Anything with the moniker of Coffee Stain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coffee Stain,
Yeah.
Sweater, Izzy, and Soggy are the fucking best, man. But
Absolutely.
Love Canal's energy is really like, takes me back, you know what I mean? Because you just don't hear anything with that kind of intensity these days.
As far as Jacksonville bands go, yeah, those are the real deal. They ain't fucking around.
Shout out Sid.
Yeah.
Who else do you want to interview on here, man? Do you have plans for who's next or what's next?
So one of the things one of the reasons that I even wanted to do this in the first place is to advertise.
Yeah.
I want to know I want to interview Blaine Cruz. Blaine Cruz was a guy from the old school days. We played together. Brutal Assault, Billy Hughes, Dallas. We've already interviewed Pat from Brutal Assault. I want to interview Pat Lawley. I've spoken with him. He's busy right now. He's doing a lot of stuff. He's got a really, really busy life.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get some time to do that. Those are some people right off the top of my head. Norman Duchesne.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to interview
Not ringing a
Norman
bell for
Duchesne.
me.
Yeah. So, all you fools, if you hear this shit, you need to fucking get in touch with me so we can interview you and talk about your stuff.
Yeah. You should definitely get Kabuki Nutshot. Isn't Ringworm? That's Ringworm.
So I've already interviewed Mike. Yeah, I've already interviewed Mike. And
Betsy and
we
Lenny.
interviewed Mike Magners too, but I lost the damn interview, and it was really short too. It wasn't long enough. I need to interview that. We did interview Lenny and Betsy.
Yeah.
But
that's mandatory.
I don't know. Well, Brenda, it's on Brenda's phone. I don't know if we can find it or not. But we actually kind of came to the realization that we wanted to do those two separately.
Okay.
Just because, whatever. That was the,
okay.
I can't remember.
I mean, certainly they have two different stories, although they merged obviously at some point. But you know, Betsy's an amazing person. Lenny also deep roots within the punk rock world, multiple scenes. And not only that, they're successful business people. They're a power couple in my eyes. And Betsy's work in the community, fundraisers for the Women's Center, fundraisers for Autism Center, fundraisers for you name it. You know what I mean? If it's a good cause, she's going to throw her weight behind it. She's a little powerhouse, man.
Yeah.
And they have my utmost respect, and I definitely consider them worthy of being on here. People need to know who they are here in this area.
No doubt.
Who else, man? Well, Brenda. Have you interviewed Brenda for this specifically?
We did interview Brenda, and she can't find her interview.
Well,
I think it was on her phone.
That's cool. That
might have to do it again.
That can be a dry run. You do it again, come back better. But she has a lot to share, both about Jax and New York and who knows where else.
My
But
goodness.
I'd certainly be interested in
Yeah,
listening
Brenda
to
is
that.
an incredible resource.
Yeah.
She knows all about JaxPunx.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she's the one that did this.
Okay.
She has inspired me to do this. It was her idea.
Yeah.
It was not mine. I would not have done it.
It's a great
I wouldn't
idea.
have thought of it. It was her idea.
Shout out Brenda.
Brenda KATO. All right, so favorite local punk bands. Where'd you grow up? What side of town? What schools? That's interesting. So I grew up on the south side. I grew up in a little neighborhood called Sin City, not Vegas. It's Jacksonville, over by the neighborhood tavern. Shout out to the neighborhood tavern. And I went to Sandalwood. I graduated Sandalwood, went to Woodland Acres in the elementary, and yeah. So what about you?
I was born in Long Beach. My parents moved to the Bay Area when I was still about 2, so that's where all my memories are from. I think they first moved to Oakland and moved around a couple of different places, but Fremont is probably like where most of my formative memories occurred. By the time I was in my teens, I was in the group home system, had truancy officers chasing me around, and we're running AWOL from group homes and getting booted out. Most of those were in Oakland, San Leandro, Hayward, San Jose. I went to school, you know, at each of those places, you know what I mean? But I ultimately graduated from Hayward High when I took the California High School Proficiency Exam. It's kind of similar to the GED, but it's like a statewide thing. I did that when I was 16 and went to Chabot College in Hayward, and on to Santa Rita Jail, and you know what I mean, to deeper, darker places from there. That's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, man.
You can learn anywhere, huh?
That's right. Sometimes it's just what not to do, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's what not to do.
Yeah.
There's one thing, and I see it on here, and I probably need to touch on it.
Sure.
Punk rock, in my opinion, has become somewhat of a uniform.
Yeah.
When I was coming up in the scene, when I was first in the scene, we used to buy clothes from the thrift store. We used to make our own T-shirts because
Yeah.
you couldn't get it. You couldn't buy a Negative Approach T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I made my own.
No Hot Topic or any of that shit.
There wasn't no
right?
Hot Topic. Yeah, we'd get paint markers.
Yeah.
And we'd sit there with the paint marker, stretch the shirt over, and draw whatever we had going on. You know, whatever. And that was our punk rock tee.
And then corporations come around and suck the life out of the thing, right?
Right?
But is that not one of the cool things about fucking Love Canal and some of these kids? They're bringing that back, man.
I think it's
they're
gotta
making their own
be-
fucking
I
clothes.
think it's got to be the reason that I even would say their name in the first place is
Yeah.
because they are doing it.
They've got that-
freaking DIY.
That fucking
They're not kissing
authentic
ass.
DIY energy, man. Doing everything themselves. Yeah, gotta give it up for them.
So what was the fashion market like in East Bay?
Man, I mean, I made a lot of band shirts because I didn't know where to fucking get one.
Yeah.
They existed. I just didn't know where to get one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I used to look at thrift stores. I found some cool shit there. I couldn't really tell you where my first band shirt came from, I don't think, man. I remember finding a Misfits shirt at a record store. It was probably after American Psycho came out. You know what I mean? Yeah, so like 94, you know what I mean? But I was never a cool kid. I never had a line on that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when it came time, someone gifted me a biker jacket and I put spikes and studs and bottle caps and cook tabs and lighter bits. You know what I'm talking about? All that shit. Got a hold of a whiteout pen and I had a fucking the Misfits guy, you know, off the Legacy of Brutality with brain eaters across the top. Fucking, you know what I mean? That was the coolest shit I ever had. And I had a pair of Docs that were all tore up and wrapped duct tape around them. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was definitely not an example of high fashion at any point in time. What about you?
I spray painted a pair of Craftsman boots one time, bright red. They were like gloss red, and that was my fashion statement. As I had these bright red boots. But Doc Martens were too expensive, and they were really hard to come by.
Yeah,
they were really hard to come by in the day. I don't even know where you. I think Blue Rhino or something maybe over this way.
Yeah.
But not on the south side, and they didn't have any place like that, you know, that you could buy stuff. And I didn't have any money anyway.
Yeah, who had money?
If you had I think they were $100 for a pair of boots. I was like, $100?
Yeah,
it might as well be $1,000.
Might as well be my life savings.
Yeah, might as well be $1,000. I just couldn't justify it. So yeah, I just the ass gets ripped out of my pants. I'd sew an American flag in it, you know.
That was the beauty of it, man. Just
Yeah.
The style of no style.
Yeah, just no style whatsoever. But man, I guess that's it. We're not gonna. There's not much more. There's no more list. The list is done.
Fuck the list.
And fuck the list.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Peace.